All right, welcome to another episode of The Collective Perspective. This is Michael. We're going to be talking about social media. We're going to talk about some burgers, some meat. So Michael, if you don't mind, just tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I started a burger club called the Gotham Burger Social Club in New York City almost 7 years ago. It's a group of guys that get together once a month, rate a different burger all over the city, and we post all our reviews online.
Nice. How did this thing come up?
Well, we had a group of guys that would go out almost every Thursday night. And then what happens? You get older, you get married, you have kids, you don't see your friends that much anymore. So literally bored on my couch one night, I think it was a Time Out magazine about the best burgers in New York City. I took a picture of it, put it on Facebook, and said, who wants to do a burger tour? It's going to be a burger tour for 1 year. That was the only interest I had at that time. Had a huge response from probably about 16 to 18 people who were like all in. And we were joking, we said in a couple of months it's going to be like 2 or 3 of us just eating a burger somewhere. It'll just die off, you know. Who the hell wants to do this? It took off. And it was right around the time, I guess it was 2013, that I realized Instagram was not just a filter. But you could actually put a page together. I said, we'll put a page for us to follow. Not realizing that there'd be 170,000 people following us 6 years later. That was literally intended just for us so that we could look back on it on a Friday night and laugh at the pictures and talk about, that burger, this burger. So one of the things that I love when we started, as opposed to people starting today, the reason why you started. We started to have fun. Find good burgers. The term influencer did not exist 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Now everybody's jumping on to become an influencer and looking for free meals and sponsorship. And I feel like there's a lot less authenticity today than there was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, there were a lot of people talking about food and ideas on Instagram. And if you look, so many of them have focused the attention on them. They believe they're the brand now. And the message gets lost.
So there was no grand master plan here. It was just bored on the couch, going to have a little fun.
No, it was only supposed to last for 1 year.
So that's great what you touched upon about other people and putting the focus on themselves. If you had to talk to other brands or businesses or just individuals, trying to create their own personal brand or trying to duplicate something or trying to expand something that they're working on, what blueprint or what advice can maybe give back to some individuals?
I definitely think it's harder now than ever. I think you've got to engage with the audience, build your audience organically. You have to be consistent on social media. And that's posting, to me, at least once a day. And being out there and being in front of people. I would tell people to work on collaborations, maybe working with some bigger people, all of a sudden they'll see you if you're collaborating with them. And just have, real organic content. I mean, you've got to show stuff that obviously looks good. The quality of the pictures have to be good. You're not taking pictures with flip phones like you were 10 years ago. Spend a little time to curate a good picture.
Obviously, you're doing a lot of social media, a lot of marketing. You're probably looking at bars and restaurants, their social media. Is there something that stands out that bars and restaurants are doing really well, marketing themselves or interacting on social media? And then on the flip side, is there something that is awful that you see out there marketing?
I think it's staying in your lane. I see too many people veering out, trying, not staying focused on what they represent. Whether that's bar, restaurant, whatever. Are they bringing the right people for the right product? And whether that's a bourbon brand, whether that's bringing in a burger. I think that's obviously pretty smart to reach out to me if we say, hey, we have a new restaurant that's opening up, we have this great burger, we'd love for you to come in and try it. It's staying in your lane, that makes sense. If you're bringing somebody who is a lifestyle brand that's focusing on clothes, and you're trying to get your burger or whatever it might be out there, it's probably going to fall on deaf ears. Their followers are following them for fashion, not food.
Let's talk about meat, man. You're going to dinner tonight?
We do. We actually have a burger meeting tonight.
How many times a week are you going to?
At one point, I was probably doing 4 to 5, sometimes 6. I try and limit it now to 3.
You look good. You seem like you're keeping it together.
Heaviest I've ever been in my life, though.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, came from a good place, and I put on probably.
But you've been doing it for 6 years?
6 years, 25, 30
so
pounds later.
How do you maintain?
There's a lot of things you're going to see on Instagram that aren't actual. So there are the people who are going to have a plate of food in front, a table of food, 20 plates in front of them. They're not eating. I've been around these people, I've seen it. Those people, they're not eating. There's probably a small percentage of people who have great genetics and work out 2 or 3 times a day who can eat that and stay in shape. I will now split a burger if I'm going to try something or really limit what I'm eating. I'm not going to finish all the French fries. Working out, trying to eat healthy when I'm not eating out. So if I know I have a dinner that night, I'm probably going to skip breakfast and lunch. Nobody wants to hear about that, but that's the reality. You have to be conscious about what you're eating. And I think there's a lot of people who are very irresponsible about what they're eating and not talking about the consequences of an unhealthy diet on a daily basis.
Yeah. You're out all the time. How do you find these places? Word of mouth, Instagram, everything.
Instagram. Friends tell me about something. I'll read something in the Times, on Eater. I follow what other people are doing on social media. There's a couple of pages I know that my friend is going to be the first one at every restaurant. I'll follow what he's doing. So, it's just keeping your ears open.
Yeah. So when you're at a bar or at a restaurant, obviously you want the food to be good. Is there other intangibles that you're looking for at a space, decor?
I mean, we range from a burger at a food hall to a nice restaurant. Yeah. The hardest part for us is getting all the guys together. So we were supposed to do originally one space. It's like we could only accommodate 10 people. Yeah. Because we have a very tight, so we couldn't do it. I'm gonna have to reschedule something else with them. But just finding logistics, we'll go anywhere. Yeah. Literally a bar, tavern, because personally I love it, just a greasy smash patty burger that I know I'm not gonna get at a high-end restaurant or at a steakhouse. Right. I find most steakhouses don't do burgers well.
Overthink it, or what's going on?
I find that the bun always a big problem. I can find the patties to be overcooked or just not flavorful enough. And it's just not the style burger that I like. Gotcha. A big 10-ounce patty on a brioche, tomato, lettuce, thick piece of onion. That doesn't excite me. I like thinner smash patties. Yeah, kind of
got it.
Get a little dirtier.
Obviously, this thing's been building over 6 years. What's next?
We started doing pop-ups based on fundraisers, and then people liked it so much they started asking us to do more pop-ups. We've been presented with the idea of opening up our own place. Okay. We'll see if the opportunity arises and makes sense. But literally every day is a little bit different, and we'll see where it takes us.
Are you creating the pop-ups yourself, or you're partnering with different chefs?
A little bit of both. I've had some chefs reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love for you to come in. I have reached out to some place and said, hey, would you guys want to do something if I think it works, if it's a good fit?
So I follow your Instagram. I love it, man. I don't get much fear of missing out until I see some of your posts.
Well, that's one of the things. People say, "Oh, you're eating out all the time." I know based on my schedule, I need to limit how much I can go out and how much time I have. Yeah, I don't have an abundance of time during the week. So if I go someplace, I'm going to order probably an extra entree, an extra something, so that I can walk out of there with 3 or 4 pictures that I can post at different times. The magic of influencing somebody and getting their attention, which will ultimately drive traffic, isn't from one post. One post, it's going to might get a few people in the door. It's the repetition of somebody going, wow, they're there again. Yeah. He's there again. He must really like that place. And that's what I try and do on my page.
Yeah, and I've seen on your Instagram, I've seen a lot of some alcohol pictures, some liquor brands. Are you working with different brands?
Yeah, we work with some different brands. We have some great relationships out there. Yeah. It mostly starts from us just posting. And we'll post about them and show people what we're drinking. 9 out of 10 times that brand will catch notice. Obviously we're tagging them in the picture, they'll see it, and they'll reach out and say, hey, we'd love to talk to you.
So if a brand or bourbon, I see a lot of whiskey, so I imagine you work with a lot of bourbon and scotch. So if a brand reaches out to you, is it just like, hey, yes, because of X amount of sponsorship, or I'll
say a lot of times, if I don't know the bottle or the brand, send me a bottle, send me a sample, let me taste it first. Yeah. I have no problem saying no to somebody. Got it. And that makes me a lot different from the average person on Instagram. They're trying to make a living on there. And I respect that. Yep. I'd make a living somewhere else. So I could be a lot more honest and a lot more, straightforward with my audience on what we like and what we don't like. Yeah. And if I don't like something, I simply just say, hey, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm going to pass.
So, obviously you're going out a lot. Events? Is there...
The events, and again, it's just tapering expectations. I try and do as much as I can. So I pick and choose the ones that I want to. At the end of the day, there's a lot of great restaurants out there. And you want to go to all of them, but you really can't. You got to pick and choose your battles. So one of the things I'll also mention, because I think this is important, understanding that there is not a direct correlation between likes and comments versus success of a restaurant. So everybody's looking for that viral moment. There was a burger place in New York City that closed up this year. And the guy's last post on Instagram was talking about all the success he had on Instagram. How many likes this thing got, how many views this video got. And it was a lot of over-the-top food porn stuff. Me, I look and say, well, why are you closing that if you were so successful on social media? Right? I know you'll blame everything else, but ultimately, those gimmicks get you in the house once. Yeah. They're not going to get people to come back. I think that's important for brands to realize. Sometimes less engagement, but if you have an audience that follows your recommendation, it's going to be much more valuable. Looking at people who are sharing the pictures and tagging their friends, those people are much more likely to go there.
Do you engage when you see people liking, or do you DM people, or people DMing you? Like, what's your...
I mean, everybody that comments on a picture, I always try and respond.
You do. How important is that?
I think it is important. If somebody has taken time, one, to follow and support me, and then ask me a question or make a comment on the picture, least I could do. I could do. Take a couple of minutes. I mean, collectively it takes a lot of time, but currently I still have that window of time to respond. I get a lot of people on DMs asking me, I'm coming into the city, give me your top 5 burgers. And I try and always narrow it down and take it one step further, because for me in New York City, if I'm downtown, the best burger isn't on the Upper West Side.
Right.
It's going to take me 50 minutes to get there. I'm going to tell you, stay in this neighborhood. Yeah. Maybe go to the West Village and find something. And then I also ask, what's your ideal burger? Are you looking for an aged burger? Are you looking for a double smash patty? And then try and give them the right advice.
Yeah, you're a burger therapist.
I try and be helpful as much as possible. And there's people that are going to watch this and are like, oh, he did that.
I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Super awesome. Thank you for everything. I love what you're doing. Please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Another episode of The Collective Perspective. We'll see you guys next time.